Okay, so this is a short video here, and I'm going to try and do this all in one take. Just basically explaining, giving you some dimensions, and showing how this was put together. This particular rack actually holds 5 guitars. Over here I've got 2 acoustics, and then there's slots for 3 electrics, or in my case electric, and bass. So here we go. We'll start off with a side view here. So the whole thing is constructed out of 2x2s, and I should mention that all the materials that I used for this were purchased at Home Depot. You could pick it up at any local hardware store of your choice, obviously. The dimensions, I'll give you dimensions, although they may vary depending on how you decide to build yours. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the top 5 pieces at 32 inches. The piece that you see here going across the bottom, there's 2 of those at 24 inches. So here's the other one at this end. Okay, so 24 inches. At the end of the video, I will put up all the dimensions for all the lumber needed here. So basically what I've done, and again this may vary depending on how you decide to build yours and how many guitars it'll be for, but to give you an idea of the spacing required for these things to fit properly, 9 inches apart here. Okay, so from this front piece to the back one here where the guitars rest on, I got them 9 inches apart. And then here I've got them, this one here, these two, so that's this one and this one, are 1.5 inches apart. And again, we've got 1.5 inches distance between these two to perfectly fit the upright. One thing you may want to do differently, you may not. What I did was these 24-inch pieces at the bottom here, I actually ran it out past this bottom piece, and what I did was I angled it. I've got a nice bevel here. You may decide to cut yours right there. You may decide to have it come out and just leave it squared. That is entirely up to you. This was a matter of preference here. So one of the things that I strongly recommend is that all your pieces, when you assemble this, using a wood glue and some wood screws, I believe mine are 2.5, maybe 3 inches maximum. Actually, you would have to go 2.5. So where all the pieces meet, here, here, even in between these two, you know, underneath this one, attached to this one, make sure you've got wood glue in all those joints. And as far as the screws, what I did was I tried to hide as many screws as possible. So with this one here, I screwed it from underneath, as well as this one, and this one. So they're all screwed from the bottom of this piece through and into these. The only screws that I have showing are for the uprights right here, and then there's another one back here, but this is at the back so nobody's going to see it anyway. And other screws that might be showing are this one right here. Okay, and that's going into the cross member across the top. As far as other lumber required, dowels, wooden dowels, again, I purchased at Home Depot. I made these 4.5 inches long. There's actually 4 inches that are exposed. So what I did was into this piece here, using a drill bit the same diameter as your dowel, I drilled in 1/2 inch. So I put in 1/2 inch this way. Okay. Now with the hole there, I fill it with wood glue, shove the dowel into there, and then from the back, screw in to the dowel. Now that's a lot easier when it's here because there's just the one layer of lumber to go through. Obviously you're not going to get, well, you probably could get a screw long enough to go through this and into the dowel, but what I did was before putting all of this together, this piece here I pre-drilled all the holes, glued, put all the dowels in, and then I ran a screw from here. Like I said, this piece was done separately. This was all glued and screwed together before I mounted it to here. So I ran a screw through the back into the dowel. And then once I put it together, once I joined this piece to the upright, again it's glued and it's screwed, but the hole is off-centered so that it doesn't hit the screw that I've got going through here into the dowel. And the only reason that I have these posts here is that if for whatever reason this thing got knocked around, I don't want my guitars flying all over the place. So, you know, just as an added protection, I've got them there. I later found out that the longer the guitars sit, they actually wear a groove into the foam and they don't move much. But I like the idea of having those dowels there just in case. So the uprights are the next dimension that you need. So from the bottom to the top, you've got 28 inches. And to me, that seems like a good length. When I put this thing, because I do have extra at the bottom here, the way the guitars are angled, the height and everything, I can put the bottom of the rack right up against the wall and the guitars will not hit. There is a bit of space here. So it fits just perfectly. I don't know offhand what we're looking at here. I think we're probably looking at about maybe 5 inches. But if you follow the measurements that I gave you from here to here to here to here to here, you will have roughly the same length left over here. So just start from the front, work your way back, and you'll have, you know, the same length. And if you don't, if it ends up being shorter, if it ends up being longer, depending on whatever changes you might decide to make, if you don't have this length and you find that your guitars are hitting the wall, then obviously pull the rack away from the guitar, from the wall. So what we're looking at here is pipe insulation, plumbing insulation. It's made for half-inch copper piping. The dowels, I believe, are 1/2 inch. Now, there's actually a seam on this, front to back here. You can kind of see it right there. The insulation that I purchased has double stick tape on this side and double stick tape on this side. So what I did was I peeled the plastic that protects the tape, peel the plastic off both sides. I put some hot glue around the dowel, put the wrap on it, and then pinched all this together. For these pieces here, what I did was, again, there's the peel and stick, but I went an extra measure because I found out, I guess it was about a year later, the tape was kind of drying up and this was all pulling away. So what I did was I took it all off and going a few inches at a time, hot glue. And again, I did the same thing here. So we've got hot glue here And then we've got hot glue at the bottom here. And you just kind of press everything into place and hold it till the glue hardens, which doesn't take long. And the only other thing that I've done to this over the years is you can see right here, I've got a nail, I've got another one here, I've got one in the middle here. Those are there just so that I can hang some patch cables off of the back there. So here's a nail here, you know, we've got another one here and another one further down, and then I can hang patch cables off of this. And then for a nice little touch, because I do like mood lighting in my studio environment, I've got some Christmas lights wrapped around and glued into place there. So at the very end of the video, I'll show you the dimensions for the lumber needed. Most important thing to remember is that all your joints, make sure everything is glued and screwed together so that this thing is nice and solid. The dowels are solid. These aren't going anywhere. Anyway, that's it. That is my DIY guitar rack for my low budget recording studio. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe if you wish, and if you have any comments or questions, post them down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.